Ladies and gentlemen, are people like this so much bigger on the inside? For this is a Fred the Alien Productions podcast.
They do when they explode.
Yes, cue the music.
I don't know what we're yelling about! We came, we saw, we kicked its ass!
Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me you built a time machine? Kind of a DeLorean?
The way I see it, if you're gonna build a time machine into a car, why not do it some style?
Who is this? What's your operating number?
Boring conversation anyway.
Look, we're gonna have company! Loud noises!
Hello.
Hello.
I'm a Kendall Richardson.
And I am the man that doesn't have anything to do with something. I'm not going to incriminate myself. I'm Margaret Lister.
Oh, love it. Foreboding. And you are now experiencing a podcast called Fred.
Yes, experiencing it through the mediums of two people, not three.
Yes, sadly, Fulya is not with us this week. She was at PAX. PAX was happening this weekend in Melbourne. But of course, as usual, she is with us in spirit, leaving us some wonderful notes, which I will get to basically now, I suppose.
Yeah, she's all paxed out.
She's all paxed out. This is generally when I would segue, so I'm going to segue to myself. Weekly watchings wrap up. Fulya says, "Hello, friends." Well, thanks, Fulya. I hope you're well too. She didn't say that, I did. I haven't really watched much this past week. I finished Queer Eye Season 8. Nice. And I continued my watch through Kuroko's Basketball. Very cool. Apart from that, I've been at PAX this past weekend, and it was a lot of fun. I was invited to be a part of a panel. My very first panel as a content creator. Clap, 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 clap. Very, 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 very cool, Fulya. Very, very proud of you. I met with some game developers and played their games. I bought some merch. I won some merch. Oh, nice. You have to show it off for us next time you're on the pod.
Show and tell. Show and tell.
Show and tell. And then TLDR, it was a great time. I will have full details about it all on my podcast. The many thoughts I have. Hashtag shameless plug. Well, I see your thoughts are not good enough for our podcast.
We're going to get the Sparks notes, are we?
She's on one panel at PAX, and it's already gone to her head.
Throwaway.
No, we love you. Yes, she says hashtag shameless plug. But I will also briefly talk about it when I'm next on the show. Briefly.
Maybe we should read ahead before we
pass
judgment.
No judgment. Just, an opportunity for comedy, and I do it. Thanks, Fulya. That's awesome. I look forward to getting your thoughts about it and showing us some cool shit next time you're on the podcast. Thank you for your thoughts. That's great. Michael, what have you been watching this week?
Well, I've finished watching Shrieking.
Oh, wow, nice.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings. It hasn't really gelled with me. So will I watch the second season that's coming out so soon? I don't know. But I'm too busy watching another show that I've been meaning to watch, because it got released like a couple of weeks ago. The Legend of Vox Machina by Critical Role.
By Critical Role. I haven't watched it yet.
Boo.
I'm planning on watching it with some friends, and our catch up for the watchings has been delayed. So hopefully this week I will have a bunch of episodes to discuss next time.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
I won't spoil anything.
Thank you.
I won't spoil. But they've released 6 episodes so far. They're doing 3. It seems like they're doing 3 episodes. 3. And I'm happy for it, because 1 episode a week would be not enough, because it's so good, and I can see why it takes so long for them to come out, because each episode has like an action sequence that's so good. the animation is phenomenal, and I applaud all the animators doing that. And also,
Oh yeah.
and it also has got me like not rewatching, just watching a playlist online of the first campaign of Vox Machina, abridged. So I'm not watching the full thing. I don't have that much time, but I've been watching that, and I'm finally up to where where I was when I was watching the original campaign. Yeah, so that's been good. I'm up to the Briar Woods, and stuff is going great. So and and you can see a lot of parallels of what they kept and what they didn't do, but same storyline throughout, and and the newer stuff, the season 3 has been good. All the stakes are high, and because they're dealing with dragons now.
Yeah,
Dragons
they sure are.
in D&D. Who knew?
Who would have thought there'd be dragons and dungeons in this show? Here we are.
So good, and they're all after MacGuffins. I like it.
Nice.
Yeah, and there's one thing that I didn't really notice until this season. There are a lot of characters being voiced by Matthew Mercer, who's the DM in this, and he doesn't have like a character per se that he does all the time, but he does a lot of the NPCs in the game, and also in the show, and I've noticed that a lot of them look like Matt Mercer, which is a nice little like subtle hint that things are not what they seem, and all of them look the same. It's like, no, this is Matt with a beard, this is Matt with a mustache, and usually all with long hair and his longish face, and you know what he looks like.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so that was pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, I think you're up for a good watch. Because I've been
So excited.
because they're very easy to digest. Like I did the first 2 seasons in like a week. So, and been watching this as well. So can't wait for the rest of it. And I'm going to be sad when it's all done, because we're going to have to wait another year until the rest of it. But who knows? We'll probably get season 1 of campaign 2 of the Mighty Nine.
Mighty Nine.
9. So that's been good. What else has been good? And I'm really wishing we actually had a segment for it, either either the popcorn culture or the or a quickie review. Agatha All Along,
Dude.
is very juicy.
It is, isn't it?
I'm quite surprised. I'm actually really down with it, and just rewatching like little bits and pieces online as well. It's like, oh, they're setting it up so good, and it's just all meshing together. All the threads there's a lot of threads to follow, and it's so good. And I'm so glad that a lot of people are being applauding it, because it's what probably the MCU needs to do, of doing something like these small little stories that don't cost too much, because apparently this is the most cheapest show, and
Oh, wow.
and because it's basically all practical, except for the spells and that.
Most of it.
But most of it is all built, and they don't use like the volume or anything like that, and it actually shows on screen. Excuse me, hit the mic. It actually shows on screen that it's very grounded and very gritty, and the story styles that they do of like each trial is completely different. Like, applauded last week that it definitely felt like a 70s sort of throwback, like like those sort of horror movies that that are very still and stagnated and just almost hollow, and it's great. And this one is great. It's like, yeah, it's like an 80s thing, but they actually like dealt with it like not to like make fun of it, which was really good. And they forgot one joke that I picked up that they could have used when they were doing the Ouija board, and they were spelling out the name of the person that they're contacting. We know it's meant to be Mrs. Hart, but when you spell it out, it's MRSHART. I thought it was Mr. Shart. It's like, who's Mr. Shart?
Who's Mr. Shart?
Scratch. Yeah, and the big reveal at the end is, yeah, everyone knew, and the implications is, where do we go from now? Not sure if we should spoil it if Fulya is going to be.
I know, I'm umming and
watching
ahhing
it.
because I'm like, I would love Fulya to watch this because I would love to dive into this show a bit deeper, maybe when we're done with Only Murders. But yeah, maybe we won't spoil it. We've spoiled a couple other things, but she probably won't remember. But this one is a pretty big spoiler, so maybe we'll save it.
Yeah.
But can I ask you, Mike? Was it was that the thing that the Funko Pop spoiled for you?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, that's annoying.
And also Rio. She has more to play with.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to learning more about her.
Yeah.
As we go along.
And there's that. Not necessarily what we might not or may do get Elizabeth Olsen.
Okay.
Bit Scarlet.
Yeah, a bit Scarlet.
Mitt Scarlet. Not Scarlett Johansson, no.
No. The other one.
The other one. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Shall I keep talking? Are you done, or do you have other things to mention?
No, I think that's basically it. I've been going all Ex Machina this week, and Agatha was probably my highlight. And I didn't watch Only Murders in the Building this week. I was saving it for today, so it's actually fresh in my mind. But unfortunately, we're not going to be. We'll save that for next week.
Yeah, we'll do we're going to do a double Only Murders episode next week.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Kendall?
Yes, well, I'll talk about Agatha.
Agatha.
Yeah, Agatha. I can't really add too much to what you've said already without spoiling it. But yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. I'm really enjoying the show. Just in general, I was a little skeptical at first, just because of this cloud that is hanging over the MCU at the moment. But I just love Catherine Hahn so much. She's so good, and she's always been good. Like ever since seeing her in Anchorman back in the day, like her comedic timing is impeccable.
Step Brothers for me.
Step Brothers, yeah. I went to a trivia night during the week, and they played that clip of them in the car singing. The Sweet Child of Mine, and how she's like so quiet, and Adam Scott's just like, come on, you're letting down the team. You're like, come on. Very funny. Anyway, she's great.
I was thinking of another scene where she's trying to get with John C. Reilly.
Yeah.
I love your hair. I wish I could wrap you up in a ball and stick you in my vagina.
Oh, she's so good. Anyway, yeah. So this is Agatha's probably my favorite character she's played, just because she owns it so well, and I love the layers to her in this, and how we're getting so many just facets of who she is, and is she good? Does she want to be good? Is she faking? How truthful is she? Like, she's kind of, a lot like Loki in certain ways,
Hmm.
just in terms of like this hint of evil and mischief there, but maybe a desire to be better or be greater than what they are, I guess. Because I really, not to spoil too much, but at the ending when the twist happened, the reveal, and then Agatha kind of went a bit evil for a second, and I was like, "Oh, I like this," because we literally just saw her begging, being like, I'm good, I've changed, blah blah blah," and I'm like, "Oh, have you now?"
Well,
So I love that.
Here's the thing. I don't think she went evil. I think something just clicked. It's like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what's happening.
Yeah,
They're not
yeah.
they're not divulging what it is. We can only speculate on people's motives, and especially at the ending of this particular episode, of people's motives if they knew a lot more than they would know. But it seems like Agatha sort of went, "Oh, that's who you are," and this is your motive. You've been playing us all along. That's why you wanted to be here.
Yeah. But I don't know, there was just a tinge of darkness to her in the way she.
I mean,
carried
yeah,
it
it's
out.
Agatha.
Yeah,
so.
but anyway.
But she
Well, yeah.
she definitely had like a bit of a vulnerable stance in this one.
Yeah.
Considering, considering this was her trial.
Yes. Yes, indeed. But yeah, it's great. I would like to tell people that if you're a fan of WandaVision, if you're a fan of the MCU in any capacity, definitely give this show a chance. It's one of the better ones. So surprising. It really is. It's they're doing a really good job with it. So I'm really really excited to see where it's going to go. And I think we're about halfway through now. So so that's really cool.
A little bit, yeah. There's only 9 episodes, so it's a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because WandaVision also had 9 episodes.
Yeah.
So.
Multiples of 3.
Poetry. It rhymes. Multiples of 3. I guess.
3 of 3.
3 of 3. Mother
Crone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wavelengths.
But we were on the same page. It's
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Wish I was a girl.
Okay, Agatha's great. Cool. So the other really great thing I watched this week was The Penguin.
Yes, I keep on forgetting The Penguin because it's on a Monday.
I know, it's so annoying that it's at the start of the week and we podcast like literally the day before a new episode comes out. So I don't blame you for forgetting. But I didn't really watch much else this week, so I don't have too much to talk about. But Penguin, my god, learning about Victor and what happened to him when the flood happened, and why why he is how he is, sort of, and like how did he get into the position he's in, and what are his motivations, and his ex-girlfriend or girlfriend, whatever, comes back into his life. And I was sitting there watching the whole episode just going, you're gonna get her killed, man. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
especially when you invite her to your boss's lair.
Yeah, 110%. I mean, I was expecting the episode to end with her dead, but it didn't, so it's fine. She got out. Spoilers, but
more ways than one.
Yes. But no, it was a great episode. Shit's catching up with Oswald left, right, and center, which it makes sense and is great because like he's not, this master manipulator.
No.
He's making it up as he's going along. He's doing very well at it. But of course, shit was going to hit the fan at some point, and people were going to find out, oh, this is what you're doing. This is what you're up to. So I'm looking forward to seeing where things go from here.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And I kind of like seeing Sophia and Penguin sort of aligned. Like, they make a good duo. Like, they kind of play off each other really well as well. But yeah, it was a great episode.
Yeah.
It's proving also to be, I mean, not that I was not expecting this. I was expecting this to be this kind of quality, but like still watching it is just like, oh yeah, this is good shit. This is really good shit. Speaking of shit, you're gonna love this. I watched a movie
Oh, movies.
yesterday.
I like movies.
Yeah, I like movies too. The movie in question I watched was Young Frankenstein.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Finally, I finally watched it. Yeah, and I
After
really
you
liked
borrowed my DVD, then
I borrowed
and
the
I took it
DVD,
back.
and then yeah, because I'm so fucking terrible. People, this is a PSA to anyone who ever lends me anything. Unless I'm desperate for it and have like specifically asked for the thing, I probably won't watch it or or use it or read it. And it's not a personal attack on anyone. It is literally my weird brain and my motivations and especially if I'm like obsessed with something like, you know, Rings of Power, for example, and how that's kind of overtaken my life, I'm like, I'm just gonna watch this and that's it. But anyway, so sorry, Mike, but I finally
Hey.
hey, yeah, I really a lot. It was very funny. It was a really, really cool take on the Mary Shelley story. And Gene Wilder is just absolutely marvelous. I just love how intense he gets. Like, just, he just really goes for it. Yeah, I loved a lot of the gags. I don't know if I should be well. I love the fact that they make jokes about the pronunciation of names, like, you know, the whole Frankenstein and Frederick and Igor instead of Igor. Like, yeah, it's just very, very clever. And how Igor's hump changes throughout the movie. This is very good. He was my favorite. I liked Igor.
Yeah.
I want to say Igor, but yeah, I think anyway, Igor. He's great. He cracked me the hell up. He was a little fourth wall breaky and as well, and that was really fun. And Cloris Leachman as Frau was it Blecher?
Frau Blucher.
Blecher, and then every time the fucking horses.
Yay. And lightning.
Yeah, and lightning. Yeah, so good. Yeah, the entire cast was great. Peter Boyle was really cool as the monster as well. I loved watching him and Gene Wilder do the putting on the Ritz. At the end.
Which bit of trivia? Bit of contention between Mel Brooks and Gene Wilder. Gene Wilder wanted it in, and Mel Brooks thought it was too much.
Oh.
And they had big fights, and well, yeah, but
creative differences.
But in the end, Mel relented because he said to him, "Well, you fought very hard for it, so I just let it go, and you were right. It's one of like the biggest highlights of the movie. People remember that.
It is. Yeah, it's great because it's like it's charming and endearing and like cool to see Gene Wilder kind of flex his singing and dancing a bit, and then just Peter Boyle bringing the comedy with like his mangled voice,
which no one knew what he was going to do.
Oh, really? Of course. That's fantastic. Speaking of not knowing things, Gene Hackman.
Yes.
Has a cameo in this movie.
Uncredited.
Yeah. But
was it really him?
Was it really him? That scene with him as this blind priest, blind monk person.
Which is in the book as well.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Yeah, that was one of my highlights of the film. Yeah, they really kind of hit all the beats of the original novel and film adaptation, for sure. And yeah, I mean, that are very of the 70s and, you know, probably haven't aged well, but I wasn't offended by any of this, you know, the sexist stuff, I guess. It's very tame.
Would you like a roll in that, eh?
And I just kind of loved his fiance becoming the bride of Frankenstein at the end. She was wild.
Yeah.
She was Madeline Kahn. She was fucking wild.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god, yeah. 10 out of 10. I adored it. I adored it. Now I just need to watch Blazing Saddles.
Oh, you're
'Cause
going
I haven't seen
backwards.
that. Or go backwards instead of forwards. Yeah. But yeah, I'm very glad to have finally watched it. So
Now, Blazing Saddles is a movie of its time.
yes, this I hear. this I hear and have heard. But everyone says it's amazing, so
It is.
should-
It is.
I should check it out. I've got the Mel Brooks bug.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's pretty much it from me for my weekly watchings,
Sweet.
which means now it's time to get into the week that was in the nerdy news.
This is the news, the nerdy news. The nerds that talk about the nerdy news. That is us who talk about the news that is nerdy. And now the queen of nerdydom, the hostess with mostest, Kendall Richardson. Take it away, Kendall.
Abby someone. Abby Normal.
Abby, that was so funny. Yeah, Abby Normal. That was the name. Oh man, I knew that was gonna go as soon as I saw like the brain he was supposed to get next to 2 jars labeled abnormal brain don't use. I'm like, well,
Don't use.
we all know how this is gonna go. Yeah, I really liked the movie. It was great. Cool. Speaking of things I like, DC is going to kick off our news this week because we finally have some casting news out of the DCU, James Gunn's DCU, in terms of the Lanterns TV series that's in the works. We have a Hal Jordan and a Jon Stewart. So this show is going to be sort of a buddy cop based on Earth sort of mystery, Men in Black style, if you will. And Kyle Chandler, famous most of all for Friday Night Lights, the TV series.
Oh.
He's been in a bunch of stuff. He's been around for a couple of decades now. He's a very good actor, and you recognize his face. You'll be like, oh, I know that guy from that thing.
Yeah.
He's
From
one
the
of
Little
those-
Dum Dum Club. Yeah, I know him.
R.I.P. And then our Jon Stewart is going to be Aaron Pierre. Aaron, not a seasoned actor as compared to Kyle. I nearly said Kyle. That's hilarious. Kyle Chandler. Yeah, so he's sort of an up and comer. Has had a lot of kind of buzz around him in his career so far. I saw him in really good sci-fi movie I talked about in the podcast last year called Foe, starring Paul Mescal and Saoirse Ronan. It was filmed in Australia. And Aaron Pierre is the third player. There's only 3 actors in the cast. And he's the third guy. So he was great in that too. He's definitely in a supporting role compared to the other 2, but yeah, he was really good. So, and he's got a very striking look, Aaron Pierre, because he just kind of does look a bit like, I mean, Jon Stewart's a man. I don't think he's an alien in the comics. I don't know enough about Green Lantern to know, but he does have a very striking visual appeal. So that's really cool.
Very striking eyes.
Very striking eyes, yeah. Very striking eyes. So yeah, this is great news to see that we have our Hal and our John for the DCU. Lanterns is going to be on Max or HBO Max or whatever the fuck they're calling it now. Next year, I think, is when it's coming out. But yeah, I'm keen. I'm keen to experience the live action world of what Green Lanterns are like. Very far removed from the other film that we don't talk about. Unless you're Ryan Reynolds and you're making fun of it.
Constantly.
Constantly. Right, guys, remember that movie Green Lantern I made and how bad it was? Yeah, I'm going to make fun of it now. Bless you, Ryan. We love you. Mike, what do you think about these casting choices? Are you looking forward to the show?
Yeah, I suppose. A nice, what do you call it, front door to this to the lanterns. Opening. Divulge. Words. Delving into. There we go.
Words. Yeah.
Words. I got so much words. I got words. I got the best words.
Oh God. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Interesting that the guys set it mostly on Earth. I mean, it makes sense because these particular lanterns are the protectors of Earth. I don't really know the lanterns that much, but yeah, Space Corps, police. They police the world, police the galaxy. Their biggest foe is yellow. Different colors.
Different color lanterns.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, so hopefully it's like a passing on the torch, and then the main guy is probably going to be Jon Stewart, maybe, and he will have his own segment on the Daily Show. So, yeah, crossing the streams, yeah,
Crossing the streams.
Yeah, I'll look forward to this because there's always someone's first, and this could be someone's first. I mean, yeah, we had the Ryan Reynolds thing, and I watched it because Jeffrey Rush was in it, and big fan of Jeffrey Rush. What?
I don't remember Jeffrey Rush being in that movie. Who did he play in that movie?
He played the fish guy, and the narrator, who was the fish guy.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot. Okay.
Wow, that movie is easily forgettable.
Very true.
I don't really remember what happens in it.
I remember the science dude getting big head. I think that's what that was.
Science dude getting big head.
Unless I'm misremembering wrong.
Yeah.
I could be very much remembering the movie wrong because it wasn't a good movie. But
No.
anyway, it's fine.
I was going, I'm weirdly bored. I think it's this when we learned that computer generated stuff isn't that interesting anymore.
Yeah, maybe.
I think this was like this is
Yeah.
like the come on. At least have a story. Anyway. Yeah, I'm all good for it.
Nice. Glad to hear. So am I. I just double checked my fact checking. No release date for Lanterns yet.
Well, I wasn't going to ask because it's not Trailer Park.
No, but I mentioned before that I think it's coming out next year, but it's they haven't confirmed it.
You
so.
were trying to trip me up.
Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't.
I know how to work this. How do you work this?
How do you work this thing? Where's the any key? Okay. So, next in the news, keeping it, I suppose, kind of superhero adjacent, a little bit, sort of sci-fi. There's going to be a live-action Voltron movie. This was already announced. Amazon is going to be making this. So it's going to be a Prime Video original film. And none other than Henry Cavill himself,
Ooh.
the Cavalrine, is going to be leading the charge in this Voltron movie. This is going to be the first time we will be seeing a live-action Voltron interpretation. I don't think I've ever seen the anime that it's based on. From what I've glimpsed, it just kind of looks like, oh, this was Power Rangers before Power Rangers, except in space. So, because it's basically the same kind of thing. They all form different ships and things, merge as one to become a fucking
Voltron.
It's not Voltron. Yeah, thanks. That's the word I needed. Wasn't it? Very funny.
Voltron was the moniker. It's like, there's instead of a Megatron, it was a Voltron.
Is a Voltron. Yeah, I mean, Henry Cavill is at a very good point in his career where he can make a lot of choices for whatever he wants to do, which is nice. And he's always a good watch. But the only thing that has me kind of giving me pause a little bit is the fact that the director, and co-writer of this movie, Rawson Marshall Thurber, um, is known for the movie Red Notice and Dwayne Johnson's film Skyscraper. So, I mean, he's got action chops, I suppose, but historically those movies were a bit eh. So,
Maybe that's because it had Dwayne in it.
maybe he was in both of them, I think. Yeah. So, I'm pretty sure he was in Red Notice. But maybe Henry Cavill will be the match made in heaven. We are yet to see.
Wasn't Red Notice with Ryan Reynolds and Gal Gadot?
Yeah.
Disney,
Was
Netflix?
The Rock in that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Netflix movie. Yeah, I never watched it. So I shouldn't really judge it, because I haven't seen it, but
That's alright, I do that all the time.
going off what I read about it when it came out.
Yeah.
Anywho, I'm curious to see how this is going to turn out. I would love to see a trailer, probably in like 18 months from now. So, let's go, Voltron.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mike, what do you think?
I don't know much about Voltron, but I thought they were just kids doing it. Like, maybe Henry is like the person that gets them all together is like, and then that makes you the Giga Chad guy. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you're right, but
maybe Henry Cavill is like the draw too for people saying, "Oh, I know that guy. He's Superman." And other, and he goes, he cocks his arms before he fights, and that meme, which I loved.
Yes.
I loved in Deadpool. It's like, yeah. Me and the wife rewatched that, and it's still good.
Oh yeah.
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 Hasn't lost its charm yet.
Yet.
Give it 5 years. It's like, not as good.
Oh my god! I watched the Honest trailer for it. That came out this week for Deadpool and Wolverine, and there's literally a sequence where they talk about how in a few years, or like when the next generation of fans are watching this movie, they'll be like, so this was a big deal when it came out. Notice all the pauses in the movie for applause for all the cameos, and then it just really it points out all of them, but it exaggerates it like by taking away the score and only having like silence set to footsteps of these characters walking in. It's very funny.
Yeah.
I laughed a lot. But anyway,
it's
for
gonna be fun. Us.
It's for us. It was made for us.
And then we get to say it wasn't like this when we were growing up. It's got to be all fan service.
All fan service all the time.
Yes. If you don't cry at least once, it's a failure. I'm in that time in life. Yeah. So Voltron. But we've already seen it. Pacific Rim. There you go.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say before, and I was trying to think of what word I should say for what the machine is. I was like, should I say Pacific Rim right now? 'Cause...
Not really, because that's just one big mech. Power Rangers is more of the buy all the toys so you can put them all together.
Yes, I know. Yes, I know. All right, we got one more thing to talk about before we roll on out of the news and into our next segment. But until then, Lilo and Stitch, the live action, the never-ending run of reimagined classics from Disney. This is coming out. We have a release date now. They did just say it was going to come out next spring for the US, which is autumn for us. It's coming out officially on the 23rd of May next year.
Right.
So right smack bang in the middle of blockbuster season.
Oh.
So that's I think that's Memorial Day weekend in the US that'll be coming out too. So that's a big movie weekend.
Yeah, everyone's at home
in America,
so everyone can go to the movies.
Yes. I don't have too much to say about this, other than I would like to see a full trailer, because so far we've only gotten a character and title reveal, I'm pretty sure, for this film. We got it, I think at Comic-Con or D23, they played us a little brief clip. I think we talked about it on the pod
Yeah.
back then. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Fulya has some thoughts because she's obviously, for those who are regular listeners and viewers of the show, will know she's a big Disney fan and a very big Lilo and Stitch fan.
Yes.
And she says, I might be a tad bit excited for the Lilo and Stitch live action film, even though I'm still slightly hesitant about it. We shall see what happens. Give us a trailer already, Disney, you cowards. Shakes fist in the air. Shake harder, boy.
Excuse me?
It's a Simpsons reference, man.
I didn't watch The Simpsons as a kid. I wasn't allowed.
No. Disappointing.
No. That was Hercules. Disappointed!
Disappointed. Yeah, so that's Fulya's thoughts on that one. Mike, what about you? Are you going to be marking your calendar now that you have a date for Lilo and Stitch, the live action adventure?
Well, I've got kids, so yeah. Something to go see and let them experience the cinema as it is before it all goes away. Yeah, big fan of the Experiment 626. I think that's the number. And there you go, Fulya. That's my impression of that guy. Can't remember his name. You know it. Same guy. Same guy does the voice for Clockworth in Beauty and the Beast.
Cogsworth.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't it David Ogden Stiers? Isn't it that he did it?
Yeah, something like that. He's from MASH as well.
The guy from MASH. Yeah.
Yeah, guy from MASH.
The guy from Mish.
Yeah, not Alan Alda.
No.
It's absolutely. Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic.
Oh, it's so funny.
I love it.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we be done?
Yeah, I can't really talk much more. I want a trailer too, except for the little bit where the Stitch model jumps out of the poster and says the N-word and runs off.
Says the N-word.
A lot. Wow. I've seen a lot. I've seen it. Ironically, I've seen a lot of stitches on TikTok of people going, "Did he just say?" Yeah.
Did he just say?
Yeah.
What we?
It's like Donald Duck saying the N-word in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Good times.
Yeah, he called Daffy Duck the N-word. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. Okay. That's the nerdy news. We're done with that. We are now going to roll ourselves on up to the trailer park.
To the trailer park.
Rolling up to the trailer park where we all park all the trailers. Yeehaw.
Okay, it's trailer park time. 3 trailers as per usual to discuss. Starting with
The Crone.
this week. Yes, Mother Maiden Crone. Does that make this movie The Mother? This is our second trailer for the upcoming Bob Dylan biopic entitled A Complete Unknown. We did a teaser review on this about a month or so ago, and yeah, looks really, really good. This trailer gave us a really, really good kind of overall glimpse of the kind of movie we can expect, and just hitting familiar beats that, if you're like have a casual interest in Bob Dylan as a figure in music history, then you'll kind of notice certain names that pop up here, and just the vibe and the era, and like his kind of rebelliousness against his own fame. So yeah, and getting to hear more of Timothée Chalamet singing as Bob Dylan in this trailer too, which I really liked, because his voice is a perfect blend between his own voice. Like, you can hear him pretty clearly, but you can also hear Bob. So it's not an impersonation or a caricature or whatever you want to call it, but it's a very good portrayal, I guess, of his singing voice. So I think he's doing a really good job, and he's really like just got the look down and the mannerisms down and the way he kind of carries himself around. Yeah, so I'm seeing potential award buzz for Timothy. Again, he's been nominated for more than one Oscar at this point. So that's really exciting. He's very talented. So yeah, it looks really good. I'm looking forward to watching it. It's directed by James Mangold. You know, he did Walk the Line. He gave us Logan as well. And he's going to give us Fantastic Four. So, you know, he's a very, very talented director. I think it's Fantastic Four. God, I'm just spitballing tonight.
I love it. It's so good.
I've had 3 coffees today, everyone. So, yeah, I can't wait to check out this movie. I think it's going to be really good. What do you think, Mike? What did this trailer do for you?
I don't know that much about Bob Dylan myself. I can't name any of his songs, but I know the impact that he has because there are a lot of people that make fun, sort of do his sort of cadence, his sort of folky sort of cadence. There was one bit where when Eric Idle, one of the Pythons, did an operatic version of Life of Brian, and for some reason they do like he does a Bob Dylan style song where it's completely inaudible. Something, we're all individual. Playing the guitar and harmonica as well. And I suppose, yeah, and one of the other ones is Weird Al did a Bob Dylan type song where it's called Bob, and it's all palindromes, where he writes all the lyrics are palindromes, like, I'm in a real German am I, never auto even if I had a high five.
Wow.
And my favorite one is No X and Nixon. And the other one is a Toyota's a Toyota. So
that's fantastic.
So that's all I know from Bob is other people's takes. And it makes
amazing.
And it does make sense that what's his name?
James Mangold.
James Mangold. Mangaloid. That's something else. Bad, Michael. But it makes sense that he did it because Johnny Cash is in this as well. So I suppose, mix.
It's all connected.
It's all mixed in, and Logan, of course. There's a lot of Johnny Cash in that, especially with the trailer of doing the 9 Inch Nails version of Hurt. It's more gravitas when it's an older gentleman saying he hurts. Cry every time. Yes, and yeah, Logan makes me cry. Yeah, don't want to think of it. Thank you.
Nope, that's not.
But Fantastic Four. Will there be Johnny Cash? I mean, it's based in 60s. Sorry, did I say it wrong?
No, you were fine. I need to make a correction. He's not directing Fantastic Four. He's directing a Star Wars movie. I got my Disney properties mixed up, so apologies.
Dare you?
I know. 3 coffees.
Yeah.
3.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a podcast called Fred, where we indulge in misinformation.
Yeah.
And now for our next segment, the Earth is flat, and we all know it.
Nope.
And you round earthers don't believe in the ice wall. You know, there's an ice wall around the Earth.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
that's how it keeps the water in.
Yep, keeps the water in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on the other side is like Pandora and all the other, all the Lost Islands, where all the dinosaurs are.
Oh, right.
I think.
Yes.
I don't know.
Those that came before us.
Yeah. So when is Delve into the Unknown?
A Complete Unknown will be in cinemas here in Australia on the 23rd of January next year.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I might or might not watch it. I don't know.
Mm.
See how I feel. If there's
See
nothing
how you
else to
feel.
watch.
Maybe. It'll be the end of the school holidays, so you may need something adult to drown out all the child related content you'll be watching.
Bah, that's easy.
Yeah.
Hardcore porn.
Jesus Christ.
We're in a funny mood today.
And I know it's great. It's chaos. On that wonderful note, we're going to move on to our second trailer, which I just realized I amazingly, coincidentally placed this trailer in the second spot because this movie is called Juror Number 2. This is
Jura #2.
#2.
New age.
This is a upcoming Clint Eastwood film. And it stars Nicholas Hoult as juror number 2, the titular character. And we kind of get... They kind of showed a lot of the movie in the trailer, which I find really interesting only because how do you market this movie without mentioning kind of what the twist is? Like, you want people to be drawn in. Like, you don't want it to just be like, oh... it's just another courtroom drama film with Nicholas Hoult playing a juror, and he's, maybe having an existential crisis or something. But they've to lure us in, and it's worked for me because I'm definitely interested. I don't know if the movie will be good because as amazing as Clint Eastwood is, his movies are very. I mean, more often than not, they are very good, but not all of them are winners. And yeah, so I hope this one's good because it's got an amazing cast. Led by Nicholas Hoult, J.K. Simmons is in this, Toni Collette is in this, Kiefer Sutherland as well. So yeah, some really cool names that I enjoy watching. And yeah, just the idea that one of the jurors on the jury could actually be responsible for the murder that he's involved in trying the case on. That's all the words I just said were wrong. But you know what I mean. He's on the jury in this case, and yeah, he's the one that actually killed the person. You could totally turn that into more of a thriller horror movie, I think, if you wanted to. But like the sequel to M. Night Shyamalan's Trap is just Josh Hartnett in a courtroom. Anyway, this movie looks good. I'm very interested. What did you think, Mike?
Clint Eastwood is 94.
I know, and I can't even. Oh, it's a hard-working motherfucker.
How?
How does he direct movies?
Yeah.
At 94.
Still yelling at chairs. Yeah, it's a weird thing. It does have that sort of Clint Eastwood style. I'm trying to remember. I don't think I've ever seen a directed one from Clint Eastwood. Strange.
Didn't he direct Space Cowboys? Have you seen Space Cowboys?
Oh, I've seen Space Cowboys. Right? I didn't know he directed it.
I'm pretty sure he did. Hang on. Let me...
I know he was in it.
Yeah, let me fact check. I'm pretty sure he also directed it. If my internet will load. Here we go. Da, 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 da. Yes, he did direct it.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Good movie. There you
Doesn't feel like it.
go.
Especially after, like, was it $1 Million Baby and...
Yeah.
And was it, yeah, on all the other ones. A lot of court procedures that he's been doing. Or people, like, being effed over by the courts and stuff.
Well, I think he directed Richard Jewell as well.
Yeah, I think my
Would that
wife
be- yeah,
saw that one.
good movie.
Mm.
I like that one. Yeah, it was good. Yep. Juror number 2.
Yeah. Movies in the trailer. But yeah, a lot of great people in it. And I don't know. Yeah, it's not my cup of tea, like going out after those sort of movies, but you know, if people want to see it, then people can see it. And 94, still going. Even directing. My great-grandfather got to 94. And he was
Wow.
confined to a wheelchair.
Boy.
What's he doing?
What's he doing?
Good, the bad, and the ugly. Cool. When's this coming out?
Well, Juror number 2 doesn't have an Australian release date just yet, but if you are in the US of A, you can watch it really, really soon in a couple of weeks because it's coming out on the 1st of November.
Yeah. Speaking of Nicholas Hoult.
I know, it's a twofer this week. We've got
Yeah.
twofer with Mr. Nicholas Hoult.
Maybe he should have been Bob Dylan.
Maybe he should have. Missed opportunity. This next movie is based on a true story. This one is called The Order. Jude Law is the star of this, playing I couldn't tell if he was an FBI agent or a cop. Maybe both.
FBI. I did a little
FBI.
deep dive and I sort of spoiled it for myself.
Whoops.
Well, history.
Yes, it's history. This is stuff that actually happened. So it's basically an investigation into a group of white supremacists that called themselves the Order. It looks like probably back in the 70s, 60s, 70s.
84.
Oh, 80s. It looked older than 84. That's interesting. But that's fine. Yeah. Well, it looks good, this movie. I might watch it just for the true story aspect of it. You know, about hopefully good guys persevering over really bad people who want to commit domestic terrorism against innocent human beings. So you know, there's that. But yeah, Nicholas Hoult is playing one of the baddies, one of the super racist people.
Bob Matthews.
And there's a lot of if you're sensitive to like white supremacy and that kind of iconography to do with that and like Nazism and stuff, there's a lot of that in this trailer. There's going to be a lot of it in the movie, so I imagine a lot of parts of it are going to be really difficult to watch for some people. But I guess it's important that these kinds of parts of humanity get shone a light on so we don't forget and repeat the mistakes that our forebears make.
Too late.
Too late. Still happening. So yeah, I don't know, I kind of got like Black Klansman vibes if Black Klansman was like not as funny.
Not as tongue-in-cheek. I mean, it does have Mark Maron in it.
Yes.
I know that cadence.
That was a good movie. Yeah, there's a long trailer, big trailer. They showed a lot of the main set pieces, I think, here, and but yeah, I'm curious to check it out. A really heavy but important story, I think. What did you think, Mike?
Yeah, very heavy. It gave me the ick, as the kids would say. Yeah. I do like period pieces that delve into what good allegories for today's people, and we need to be constantly being told as like, yeah, this is stupid. What you're doing is not right, and as the rise of right-wing nationalism is on the rise, we need to be saying, no, we need to stop that in its tracks. Better still, go out and punch a Nazi in the face. I advocate for that. Forever. But two wrongs don't make a right. Well, you can't really negotiate with terrorists, can you? They're already far gone, and we just need to scare racists back into their hole. They're getting a bit too comfortable. Yes.
They sure are.
Remember when I said I don't want to incriminate myself? I think I just did.
Oh no.
Anyway.
Whoops.
Well, at least we got a couple of people giving Nazi salutes in this state are in trouble now. So, which is bit of a shame because you can't really. You need to dig a little deeper of who's the real Nazis now, because they used to show it out and say, there's you, bang, back in your hole. Whack-a-mole. Anyway, when is this coming out?
When is this coming out? Well, same as Juror number 2. We don't have an Australian release date just yet, but in the US you can catch The Order in cinemas on the 6th of December.
Yay.
Hey!
Just in time for Christmas.
Just in time for Christmas, yes.
Let me guess, their favourite song is I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas.
Oh, boy. Let it snow. Let it snow.
Let it Jon Snow. You don't know. You know nothing.
You know nothing, Jon Snow. Okay. That's Trailer Park. We're done.
Yes.
Rolling on out. And
moving on up. Time to break free. Nothing can stop me. Yeah, I was brought up by women. What of it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's time.
Oh yeah.
For the time.
This is going quick. I like it.
And the time.
Woo! Finish up.
And the time and the segment and the place and the part and the thing and the spot that we like to call.
Call what? Fulya, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Oh, popcorn culture.
Culture. It's popcorn culture time. Which means we're talking who?
Hey, I've got my little thing on. Oh, there we go.
There we go. Sonic screwdriver at the ready.
I got 2.
Yeah, you got 2. I got.
Oh, look, it's got 3 settings.
Yes, because Fulya is absent this week. Mike and I thought we would dive into some Doctor Who for you guys, so we're going to be checking in with Matt Smith, and Amy and Rory. Series 6 of Doctor Who, Episode 4.
Oof.
The Doctor's Wife.
Doctor has a wife?
The Doctor's wife? What do you mean? The Doctor has a wife? What is this?
It's pronounced whiff.
Oh, it's it's pronounced whiff. That's fantastic. Oh boy. Yes, the Doctor's whiff. So yeah, my overall thoughts generally on this episode. I really liked it. It was very well paced. Moved along very nicely. It was a cool story. And yeah, really kind of fascinating to get into some TARDIS lore, sort of, or make up some TARDIS lore for this show, I suppose.
It's fiction, it's all made up.
It's all made up.
But in the best way.
And in the best way. And I always kind of like it when we get teased with, like, the idea that maybe the Doctor isn't the last Time Lord out there, or that maybe, you know, because that's the thing that's always going to get him in somewhere, is like, there's more Time Lords? What? I'm not alone? You know, he's always searching for a companion, right? So, yeah, I kind of like that when they do that kind of thing as well. And this was, yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was kind of ominous and eerie in parts, and yeah, it all wrapped up in a nice little neat bow. But it worked. I didn't really bump up against anything in this episode, except the one moment where they didn't do the ADR very well to one of the actors' faces, but that's fine. You know, it's Hollywood. It happens.
No, it's not. It's the BBC.
That's the BBC. Sorry, my bad.
Silly
Not
BBC.
bad.
Time to change your acronym. Because
Yeah.
BBC on the internet means something else. What? Anyway.
Anyway, but yes, it was really good, and Michael Sheen was in this episode, so
Oh,
we don't get to see him, but we get to hear him, and that was pretty nice.
he's a Welsh voice.
A Welsh voice, yes. I don't know what a Welsh accent is very well at all.
It's like Pakistani. It's Welsh. It's very Welsh.
Very Welsh.
Oh, I'm so down. Another Bacardi and Coke, please.
Oh man, there goes all our Welsh listeners if we had any. Mike.
Yeah, they don't know.
Yeah.
They're British punching bag.
British punching bag.
Yes.
Yeah, with beautiful names. What did you?
Very long.
Very long names.
Plenty of phlegm.
No, I love it. What did you think of this?
What did
episode?
I think? I liked it. It's a very, very interesting episode where they sort of make law where there wasn't anything, and just made it a bit, and just made a concept of what would the TARDIS sound. Well, not necessarily sound like, but what would happen if the Doctor could interact with the TARDIS audibly, and it's very it's very scientific, but it's also fanciful as well. And this is what this particular new Doctor Who is sort of striving for a bit of a more of a fairy tale sort of take with Doctor Who, and you have like spirits and also patchwork people, which is very interesting take. And speaking of young Frankenstein, made up of different parts, so it's like what's that Greek boat where you change all bits of boat? Is it the same boat?
Yeah, I know the boat you're talking about. I forgot the fucking name.
Yeah, it's all
Ship of Theseus.
Ship of Theseus. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's the Ship of Theseus.
Yeah, it's all Greek to me.
all-
Yes. And
Yes.
and okay. Elephant in the Room. It's written by Neil Gaiman.
Yeah, I wasn't going to mention that. But we can mention that.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
I mean,
Unfortunately.
yeah. First, yeah. Anyway.
This is his first Doctor Who script?
First Doctor Who script, and at the moment, the last. I don't think he's dabbled anything else within the Doctor Who canon or anything else, either book or whatever, audio adventure. But this is like the first time he written a script, because he loved it as a kid, and he wanted to write a story about it, because being a big fan, and you can sort of see that within especially in the later series of The Good Omen, where they sort of name drop a lot of Doctor Who stuff, and with Aziraphale.
Yes.
Big long word. Talking about the Doctor Who book, where he was giving out the gifts as like, this is a limited edition Doctor Who magazine, and all that. So Neil would actually have that sort of offhand, and it doesn't run past anyone to say, oh yeah, you got David Tennant as well in it as well. So it makes sense. And he put on a fez for, because apparently fezzes are cool, as well as bow ties. Whatever. Yeah, so we don't have to talk about it anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Done. Cool. Let's get into the episode proper then. Yeah. So basically, the premise of the Doctor's wife is that basically, we get this introduction. We kind of get our two setups. The first setup is this introduction on the world that the Doctor and Amy and Rory are going to be visiting momentarily, where we see an Ood and these patchwork people, but we don't know that's what they are yet. And they are taking one of their own to remove their mind and soul, I'm pretty sure is the phrase. They use, and because she's dying or something, and she's all very scared, this woman, poor woman, and they do that, and then something starts to knock at the TARDIS door, and then we find out that perhaps there's a Time Lord still alive, because this is apparently a distress call sent out from another Time Lord that's found the TARDIS, and then our intrepid travelers are dragged to this place that exists outside of the universe, which I found really interesting. And just a note on that quickly, just to say that it reminded me of Loki a bit, because this place, when they get there, the Doctor explains sort of what it is as he's figuring it out himself, I guess, that it's like all the offcuts and all the bits and bobs from the universe. So it reminded me of the Void in a way, which I thought was kind of cool.
A pocket dimension.
A pocket dimension. So we end up here, and things start to go freaky deaky from there. Because the TARDIS's power gets drained. Its very soul gets sucked out of it, and ends up in the body of this woman. I liked this a lot. Like, I mean, you mentioned it already, the idea of the Doctor being able to communicate with the TARDIS, but it's just the way they kick this story off, with showing all that and putting all the moving parts in every right place it needs to be in, and setting it all up, and it's a really great start to the episode. The stakes are high from the get-go. How did you find the way it went? Do you remember watching it the first time years ago and being like, "Ooh, what are they doing here? Where is this going?"
It was a very interesting premise. I can't quite remember what I was thinking at the time, because 2000.
Long time ago.
Yeah, 2000 and whatever. I was
11.
2011, so I was
20.
No. No. I was, if I was 15, 16. So I was in that middle. I was in that age bracket where all my kid stuff was becoming less cool. So I don't. So I was probably thinking, oh, the Doctor has a wife, whatever. Doctor's not supposed to have not to have like relationships with other people. He's supposed to be like an alien and stuff. And I didn't like it when Paul McGann started snogging his companions, and I don't like it now. Still don't, really. But then again, Rogue sort of say, oh, this is sweet.
Yeah.
With Ncuti Gatwa and Rogue.
Jonathan Groff.
Yeah, well, don't know his real name in it. He played Kristoff in Frozen, so that's all I know.
Yes.
Yeah. And King Louis in Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
Watch it again. He doesn't blink. It's freaky.
No, it's amazing.
Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah. What was I thinking? What do I think of the start of it? Cool that it all takes place in a quarry, because that is a mainstay for Doctor Who. Because if you're looking for an alien planet, and it's the 70s. So where do you go? Oh, you just go to a quarry pit in in Wales. Easy setup. It's like, sweet. And and this was great. It was just like an alien junkyard, which was cool, which somehow had a tumble dryer.
Yeah.
Can't have everything. and yeah, the sort of setup is like, oh, what's going on with this? And then and the Doctor gets mail. They say, you got mail. With a cube knocking on the door. That's kind of cool. Apparently, that's a callback from a second Doctor episode. Yeah, it was the War Games where they were trying to get him back to Gallifrey, back when Gallifrey was still around. So a lot of in connection and goody stuff like that. Yeah.
Nice.
And then he got lured into the planet to home.
Yeah. To house.
House. Yes.
House.
Home.
Yeah. So when we find some interesting things going on. I kind of like. I mean, it's pretty obvious from the get-go when House is introduced, when Auntie and Uncle start telling us about how House rebuilt them and or healed them piece by piece, or whatever the phrase is. You can tell there's something obviously going on. I mean, I had a feeling there was going to be no Time Lords that existed, but I was curious as to what was behind it. And I kind of like there was this part where House is basically talking about how these people do my will, he says, and I'm like, you're not fun. You're not a good guy. Do my will, okay. Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, I kind of liked House as a villain this episode, and Michael Sheen did a really, really cool job with his vocal delivery. Very well ominous, and foreboding and sinister in kind of unsettling ways. Very subtle, unsettling ways. I really liked what he did with the voice. Do you have any thoughts while I'm gasbagging about Michael Sheen's performance?
That's all right. Michael Sheen's a national treasure, so and it makes sense. I did like the fact that that it came off like sinister, but it could lean the other way as well. So you weren't quite sure where things were going. I think the biggest sort of gut punch you actually got was when the Doctor found the other cubes and just twigged. It's like, oh
shit.
and then he said, oh, you gave me the hope, and that's the worst thing you could do.
Yeah. Oh yes.
And this is where I probably like this particular I like the Matt Smith Doctors here, where if it was David Tennant, he would like turn on a dime and just go fucking angry. It's like, no, this is what I like about the Matt Smith's version of the Doctor, where when he does angry, he goes subdued, but his anger is bubbling.
Yeah.
It's like he goes all quiet, and his presence, and I can see why they hide him, especially when he was young for the Doctor. It's like, yes, this is what the Doctor sort of has, like that bubbling to the surface sort of rage and anger, and not to be trifled with. And and that particular scene where he confronts Auntie and Uncle, and I did like that scene. And also, Rory and Amy were in this episode too.
That they were. We can briefly talk about them if you want.
What did they do?
What did they do? I mean, they were there. I guess we had a little bit of exposition again about the Doctors. They and they can't tell him, and just to remind the audience that that's going on in the background, that they're still worried about that.
Remember?
But then remember. But then the rest of the episode, they're just damsels in distress basically, because the doctor. I kind of love it when things like this happen, just as a narrative device for tension. When like the protagonist is like, I'm my friends and put them in this thing. Oh wait, the thing I put them in is gonna get them killed. Yeah.
Well, mind you, it was the TARDIS, so that's usually a place for safety. But then,
but then, I'm not saying the doctor made a foolish call by any means. I was just saying I like it when something that we know to be a safe place, like the TARDIS, is turned on its head and becomes the last
weapon.
place. The weapon, it becomes the last place you want to be. So I kind of liked how the doctor tricked them into going on the TARDIS to try and save them, and then but I mean, for as damsel in distressy as Rory and Amy were this episode, I kind of two things. One, Amy, I had thought about her this episode where because early on, before the doctor tricks them into going away, she makes a point to say to the doctor, "You don't get emotional. You're gonna get emotional, and shit's gonna hit the fan, and you're not gonna handle it well." So she's like telling him that. Meanwhile, during this journey with House in charge of the TARDIS, basically they're sent into this sort of illusion, and Amy doesn't, because it's time. The way that House manipulates the TARDIS and her mind, I guess, he uses time to do it. So I think she kind of falls for it very easily in that sense. And then plus, because she's seeing Rory age and then eventually die, for one. But like, she gets so hysterical and so emotional. I'm like, you just told the doctor not to do that, and here you are. But it's fine. I'm not judging her. It's just an observation.
But the man should know better. Only the females can be overly emotional.
No, only. And then the
you
other
can tell
thing,
a man wrote this, can you? No, anyway.
let's not go there. And then the other thing that I kind of liked in this sequence was the fact that we're seeing like parts of the TARDIS we haven't really seen before. Like these corridors that go, in all different directions and stuff, and like how it becomes sort of a maze that they're trying to weave their way through to find each other and find how to, actually get out and save the day for themselves, I guess, or help the Doctor and the actual TARDIS save them. I liked all that stuff. So yeah, as much as Amy and Rory didn't have a ton to do other than be in peril the entire time, I didn't hate their little B plot, I guess. And it bounced back and forth quite a bit, like really rapid fire, like between the main and the B and all of that stuff. So it worked for me.
Yeah.
What about you, Mike? What did you think of Amy and Rory?
Yeah, it did work for me. I mean, there's sometimes that the companions are very imperative to the story, but the main focus was the Doctor and the TARDIS, or sexy, as we should say. Anyway, boys and their toys, and yeah, it's not necessarily pulling focus, the Ori and Raimi stuff. Wow, my speech patterns.
Ori and Raimi, I love it.
Ori and Raimi. Oh God. Yeah, so they're not really pulling much focus, and yeah, sometimes that is a given when considering this story was meant to be written in one of the previous episodes of previous seasons, like we're talking David Tennant era, but they didn't really have time or money or the budget, so it had to be put on the back burner until today. Until this particular season, and it sort of makes sense because the story doesn't really have much to do with the overarching story within the series, and that's why Ori and Raimi are here. Fuck it, I'm gonna say it. Ori and Raimi doing doing their thing and sort of telling to the audience, oh, remember he's doing the thing, so remember there's an overarching things, but okay, but we'll deal with this. So I did like the fact that it was a good balance, and not to pull too much focus from the actual thing of the Doctor and Sexy trying to get the TARDIS back, the body of the TARDIS, not the soul, because the soul's in a woman.
In the woman. Indeed. Well, speaking of said woman, she's also known by the name Idris. I think that was
that's her slave name.
That's what they called the body. Before she was taken over by the TARDIS.
Body and soul.
Body and soul. Saran Jones plays this character.
Yes.
And I gotta say, some of my favorite moments of this episode, and I could have had an entire episode or an entire Christmas special length episode with just her and Matt Smith. Just speaking timey-wimey jargon at each other and talking out of order. Like, it was very reminiscent of, like, you know, the Doctor and River Songs conversations that we see them having. Things aren't in the right order. There's so many good moments like that in this episode, and like the way that the TARDIS, the spirit of the TARDIS inside this human vessel, this body, is just trying to figure things out and learn, and their mind is processing just at a rapid rate, I guess, trying to kind of pass and understand what the fuck is happening to them, and being able to speak and remember things. Like, it doesn't remember its name for, like, you know, a few scenes into the episode, and I kind of like how they kind of tease that out. And I mean, we all kind of guessed by that point who she was, but then once the cat's out of the bag, and then things really get going. And I just Matt and Saran had just such a great chemistry together. They played off each other so effortlessly. I really liked it, and I really liked her a lot. And I don't want to skip to the ending, but like their final scene was wonderful.
Yeah, you can tell the sort of they, even though this is like the first time they are interacting with each other, you can tell there was like years of like friendship, really a relationship between these two people. It's like, who stole who. And
yeah, I loved that.
Which is sort of a big thing in Doctor Who. Is like, why did the Doctor leave Gallifrey? It's been a question up in the air, and it doesn't really need to be explained. It's just, he left because he was sick of the bureaucracy. He wanted to be out aloof, or so he needed to leave because there was something sinister, and it's one of those that doesn't need to be explained. But to the crux of it, he left and he stole a TARDIS. But I like the fact that they turned it on its head, where, well, the TARDIS is more of a living organism, so the TARDIS allowed them to be taken in a way.
Yeah, it's such a cool way to spin it. You know, and I just, I really like that. I think the only thing I didn't like was the sexy thing. I mean, it was funny. Like, I'm sure it was intended for comedic effect, I'm sure, but I don't know. It felt a bit like, you know, we've been talking about now that we're in Matt Smith era, about how Moffat has this whole, you know, sexualization kind of going on of Doctor Who. And that kind of made me think of that, because obviously he's the showrunner, but I don't know what Neil Gaiman's intent was, apart from being funny with it, I guess. But I more preferred the moments where, like, you know, he would call her old girl, or like, you know, other playful kind of nicknames. But it was funny. It was funny just to hear her offhand just say, you know, I'm sexy, but like there was no sexualization in a way as well, because like the Doctor and clearly the TARDIS are both asexual beings.
Yeah.
So there's that kind of side of it too. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Like the relationships that I sort of see with it and they're sort of playing with is like how someone could have like a relationship with their car, basically.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like the trope of the car guy got a name for the car, buys little trinkets, is like caresses a hello old girl, is like hello. And actually the old girl thing is sort of a John Pertwee sort of thing, because he was like John Pertwee's Doctor, and also him himself, he was a huge like car guy, and he wanted to get more cars in Doctor Who, and there was like one like he had Bessie, which is like this old Victorian sort of yellow car that was sort of high tech at the same time of being like vintage at the same time, and he used to call these vehicles like old girl and all this, so I can sort of see they're sort of playing with that sort of car guy sort of relationship, and it's like what would happen if that car became sentient and could talk back and not become Christine from Stephen King and start killing everyone because the car became jealous of other relationships, you know. Imagine
we
that.
don't want that. Imagine that.
Yeah.
What did you think of? I'm curious because I kind of liked the idea, like I guess of for them figuring out how to save Amy and Rory. They realize that they have to build a TARDIS themselves because they're in a place where all these Time Lords have been lured.
And all these spare part TARDISes like lying around.
Yeah. What did you think of that?
I remember at the time there was a bit of contention because there was a lot of questioning of, well, how does a TARDIS, like, is a TARDIS built? Or there was one story where they said, well, the TARDIS isn't really built; it's grown, and that and it's sort of like a bit of a coral. It's sort of like it. They sort of thought it was like a bit of coral, where if you snap off a bit of coral and you put it somewhere else, it starts growing, and it's sort of like that sort of.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a mechanical thing. It's more of a biological sort of travel machine thing, and I think the thing was, it's like, oh, you can't do that. You can't like get bits and pieces and put rack it together, and it's like, well, it's Doctor Who. You can do sort of what you want, and two things can be true at the same time in Doctor Who. And being the Doctor, I'm sure him having the expertise of building, and also you've essentially got the TARDIS here, like showing him how to create a TARDIS. You can sort of explain it through that. So I did. At the moment, I don't really mind it at all. It's sort of kind of cool that they're bringing back like the Doctor is more tech savvy, and you can just put things together and like and travel through space and time with just 3 walls and just hanging on for fucking dear life. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's really cool. Speaking of TARDISes, I kind of liked as well, just offhand, the little moment, like, you know, we talked about them arguing about who acquired who, but then I also kind of like the fact that the TARDIS points out to the Doctor. I'm like, what does the sign on the door say? And he's just like avoiding, like, no, what does it say? It means something. And then he's like, and you know, she says that it's like, you know, like, well, he says, what do you, well, she says to him, I think, what do you do when you open the door? He pushes it, but the sign says pull. So I just kind of liked how like just that little. I don't know. It's just such a little moment, but it's.
Yeah.
I just thought that was really clever
And it
as well.
also goes to, well, the TARDIS being as a police box, a police telephone box, and the chameleon circuit sort of is jammed to this particular shape.
Yeah.
The TARDIS quintessentially has changed its look every now and again. Like sometimes sometimes the top of it is more pronounced. Sometimes it's just flat, and sometimes it's smaller than usual. Like people can have a look. It's like the Fourth Doctor's TARDIS is definitely different from the 80s TARDIS and all this other stuff. And even in this New Who, the 11th Doctor's TARDIS is very different from the Christopher Eccleston and the David Tennant's TARDIS. With the, like, going by memory, I think they have the St. John's symbol on one of the doors, where the previous one doesn't have it, because I don't know. So it is slightly different. So I don't know if they're making light of that as well, where it does change. But I do like the fact that he's been pushing instead of pulling.
Yeah.
And so on. Yeah, and also the entrance to, and sometimes, yeah, thinking about it, sometimes the doors of the TARDIS are completely different from what it looks like. Like in New Who, they made it so there's the doors of the TARDIS can open and you can see out, where like classic Who, you like step out of that. They couldn't really do like outside of the TARDIS because it's completely different, and technologically it's weird trying to film that. But yeah, sort of weird tangent. Sorry.
We like it's on this show, remember? It's half of our brand.
Half of our time too.
Half of our time. That's right. Do you have anything else you want to bring up before we get into the ending?
I'm trying to think. Well, we could probably talk about the ending, because
Okay.
everything that I'm thinking is pretty much the ending.
Yeah. So basically, our story comes to a climax where, Amy and Rory are trapped with House in the actual TARDIS, and and it wants to kill them, but they manage to convince it that they can provide it entertainment, so they should be kept alive, and then we get all the corridor scenes and stuff. And then with the cobbled together TARDIS, aka Sexy, aka Idris, and the Doctor end up coming to land on the actual inside the actual TARDIS with their TARDIS, and then we have sort of a nicely wrapped up confrontation with House, I suppose, because there's this kind of stakes of like the TARDIS's body is going to die, and I think House says it's partly due to the fact that, or maybe the Doctor even says, like, it's due to the fact that all of that energy. What do they call it? The what the TARDIS's soul is made of? Isn't there like a phrase or something? I can't remember.
This is a problem when you watch the episode in your lunch break and you don't hear everything.
That's okay. I don't think I wrote it down, but anyway, basically, so there's one thing that says that she's gonna die, or the body is going to die, in a short time from now, and the other crux is apparently where they were on the planet. It was like they had like 3 hours until the temperature was going to hit absolute zero for some reason, but that doesn't really come into any kind of effect, if anything. But yeah, the TARDIS, dies, and as she, comes out of her physical body. I really love seeing, just as a sidebar, I really love seeing Rory as in nurse mode. I like seeing him care for people. Like that's my favorite Rory, I think. I want more of that. But yeah, so she dies, and then whatever the TARDIS is made of, the Doctor knows that it's, everything's going to be fine, because like they're in a, well, first off, they're in a room that's like, well, House is like, I'm gonna delete this room and you're all gonna die, and then actually, well, no, the Doctor knows that means that they're just gonna get put back into the main control room, which was great.
I deleted the shortcut to the internet. Now I don't have any internet, sort of thing. How do I get on the internet again?
Yeah. And then when the TARDIS dies, their energy or their force or whatever they're made of, which the word is escaping me, manages to destroy House, I guess. Manages to save the day. And then we get this really lovely, touching scene between the TARDIS and the Doctor, and it's, I mean, I haven't seen all of the rest of New Who yet, but I imagine this is the last time that the Doctor and the TARDIS will actually speak to each other in this way.
Yeah.
And it's emotional. It's sad. Everyone's crying and tearing up, and even though the TARDIS isn't dead technically, but like they're not going to be able to speak with it again, and the Doctor is like, it's almost like I've just found you, or I found a part of myself that I didn't, realize I could be or have, and now that's being taken away from me. But yeah, my favorite moment, of course, was just the fact that, at the end when, she's like, I've always wanted to say this, or whatever she says, and I've got one thing I'd like to say, or whatever, and then the Doctor goes, oh, goodbye, and then she goes, no, hello. Nice. So nice to meet you, Doctor. Like, I'm just like, right in the feels.
Yeah.
Like, and then just the fact that kind of goes in hand with them, this she knows the future, and because she's connected to the time
Wibbly wobbly.
Great. Wibbly wobbly timey-wimey stuff.
Spacey
So
wavesy.
Yeah, spacey wacy. It's another term we got in this episode. And so it's links to that whole out of order time travel communicating thing as well, and I just thought it was fucking beautiful. I really liked it a lot, and the performances were solid. Were really, really solid. What did you think of the ending, Mike?
Yeah, it was very, very touching. And sort of a relationship that it's hard to like put into words what it is, but it makes sense when it's when you're running through it, like the TARDIS being like a fourth dimensional being that can see past, present, and future, and Dr. Manhattan basically that can see and talk about the present time, and the one thing I want to say is hello. It is really touching and moving, and what the TARDIS should have said, with two things. I want to say hello, and also, you do know I've got a giant dog on the top of me.
I was really hoping you were going to mention that.
I was saving it for a particular time.
Amazing.
Now that is canon now.
Yeah.
Where is it going to be?
Does that mean... Hang on, what was the name of the thing again?
Zootek.
Zootek. So that means... Was Zootek inside of the woman's body, or was Zootek on top of the actual TARDIS?
Probably on top of the TARDIS, because it's part of the body, so...
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
It's like... So the TARDIS should have said, at last, I can stop smelling of dog.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why she was really crying. It's like, I don't want to smell like dog.
I don't want to go back to smelling like dog again.
Or maybe the TARDIS didn't know either. You can get away with that. It's like I've been feeling weird ever since the 70s, you know?
Ever since then. You know, the last however many years.
Get the dog up, yeah.
So-
Yeah, so everyone's sad
yeah.
and
Yeah.
and just, yeah, very, very touching moment. And also, in a way, there's a new appreciation with the TARDIS as
Yes.
well. So,
Absolutely.
mm.
Absolutely. I think the only other thing I have to mention before we wrap up is at the end, I believe it's Rory that points out something that the TARDIS said before they decorporealized, I suppose. And the line was, "The only water in the forest is the river."
Mm.
And that's got to be about River Song, I would say. Unless that's too obvious. I don't know.
In the forest. I can't remember if that comes back or not. I think it does.
Look, it feels like a Chekhov's gun sort of thing. Like,
It
This is
sounds
here
like a
for a
Moffat add-on to the series.
yeah, like it's something to tie into.
Remember
the
to
main
say this.
plot. Remember to say this line. It's important.
Remember to say the Doctor's dying in 200 years' time.
In 200 years
So you
from
got
now,
some
yes.
time left.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, apart from that, just in conclusion, it was a really enjoyable episode of Doctor Who. I really liked it.
Yeah, and a good like single episode where you can just
Yes.
chuck it on and it doesn't really matter where it is.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose that's what's really great about it. It's a good standalone episode.
Yes. Absolutely. I would agree with that for sure. Do you have anything else to mention? Any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Yeah, it's just a shame it's been tarnished. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, we won't talk about that. But I will mention the little tease we got at the end of this one for the upcoming two-parter.
Yes.
I am really intrigued by a lot of the visuals in this. Perhaps some references to a character maybe we've seen previously. Did I see that right? Maybe, or I'm just putting things together because my brain just does that sometimes.
Oh, hold on. I think I clicked on the wrong thing. What are we doing again? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Not Cassandra, no.
No, okay, because that's what I saw when I saw that there was literally like a stretched out face on a thing. And I'm like,
No.
are we doing Cassandra again?
No, we're not doing Cassandra because she ripped in half and she
did.
also did a loop where she doesn't do it. She goes back in time
Yes.
to die in front of her, which may have changed the course of her history, but maybe, I don't know.
Time travel.
Wibbly wobbly.
Wibbly wobbly. Yeah, but yeah, these whatever's going on with these creatures or these people and what's happening to them is very creepy. So I'm excited, naturally, to watch some creepy Doctor Who episodes. Oh, speaking of, we didn't really talk about the Ood in this episode.
Oh yeah, there's in this.
There is an Ood in this one, but it doesn't really have too much to do other than being called nephew and being controlled by House. So, R.I.P. poor Ood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to the Ood?
Whatever happened to the Ood?
Just oh yeah, your thing. You're a thing. Cool.
That's right.
Maybe
References.
maybe that was left over from the previous, because Ood was very much in Tennant's era. You don't really see much Ood after that.
Okay. Interesting. Until, didn't we see Ood with Jodie?
Yes.
Yes.
My memory bank says yes.
Yes.
When
very
she
good.
travels outside of the universe.
Yes. There's one on that ship that she goes to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the Flux.
Cool. In the Flux. Yes, that's right.
Which ended weirdly.
Yes, it did.
I liked
That's okay.
Doctor Who except for the endings.
not all the endings stick
Stack.
the landing.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think we're done. I don't think there's anything else left to talk in this Talkin' Who.
Yeah, I'm good. Oh, good.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Well, that was a lot of fun. Very good episode of Doctor Who, Series 6, Episode 4, The Doctor's Wife.
Whiff.
Sorry. Forgive me. The Doctor's Whiff.
It's pronounced Igor.
Frankenstein.
You have any me on? I'm gonna watch that this week.
Hell yeah. Yes, that's Popcorn Culture. That's Talkin' Who. We are done with that, which means all of the show has been shown. Ladies and gentlemen, we're done. We're out here for another week. Thank you for watching and listening. A 1, a 2, a you know what to do.
And that was a podcast called Fred.
Remember to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for the latest free content.
If you'd like to listen to Freddy Alien, you can find us on SoundCloud, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. If you'd like to watch Fred the Alien, you can head on over to our YouTube. That's youtube.com/Fred the Alien Productions. And if you're on the live stream right now, remember to give us a follow on Twitch. And also, if you're on the live in the YouTube space, remember to hit the bell icon to keep yourself updated for all the content.
All of the content, literally all of it. I have been Kendall Richardson.
And I've been the Michael Lister that is part machine Michael Lister. And you just experienced a podcast called Fred. Transition.
Remember to eat beef.
Remember, Freddy lives, Loki dies, the Doctor is in, and Young Frankenstein? How about Young Einstein on VHS, which you can't see on the screen because I got... Hold on, I'll transition. There we go, there it is.
Hey! Oh my god, I love that movie.
Yeah.
Yahoo series.
Did you know it came out on my birth year?
1989?
Yes.
Wow, there you go. Remember to look after yourself and your mental health. And laters, gators.
And
And
see.